All right, let's start rolling. Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Just get right into it.
Do you have all your cues down?
I don't know.
I don't know. You just play with them.
Just like to go. Hey, welcome, Vegas. We're back. It's that time again to sit down with Jessica Wood on.
Oh my goodness.
What's the show called again? Oh, that's it. Love in Las Vegas.
Andrew, that's so
The
bad.
crowd's going wild.
This is how wild this show is.
Exactly. Authentic.
It's authentic.
It's so authentic. It doesn't matter.
Also, this crowd is like for, 50,000.
Hey.
You too,
Exactly.
We are not worthy.
We just got back from the Sphere.
And now your host, Jessica Wood.
Oh, goodness. Hello, everyone. What a wild introduction. Yeah, so I'm here today with Troy.
Hello.
It's so funny. We haven't seen each other in probably 3 or 4, well, maybe 4 or 5 years.
We were trying to figure it out if it was before COVID or after COVID.
I know, it's insane. And last time I saw him was in San Diego.
Mm.
And we went to the Japanese garden, botanical gardens, everything. So we literally, I was like, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? He moved back maybe 2 weeks ago. You've been here?
Oh, gosh. Probably a month by now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we haven't seen each other in that long. And now I'm like, hey.
Yep. I'm
you're
doing
gonna
this podcast.
yeah.
Be on it.
Yeah. Spill all these details now.
I don't even think we set an official time. It was just like, oh, by the way, it's tomorrow at 2.
I was like, do you want to do it? He's like, sure. I was like, yeah, come here tomorrow. You're like,
I'm
oh,
down.
just kidding. Oh,
Exactly.
awesome. Yeah. So you just moved back. I met you in Vegas. He used to have, I'm going to butcher it.
It's okay.
And that's how I met you, was through our friend Annalie.
Mm-hmm.
You hosted like this brunch Airbnb, live off the land, kind of cool, different retrospective place.
Yeah, it was a post-apocalyptic utopia, I called it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. There was like animals and, he does, I don't want to, you just tell him what you did there because I will butcher it.
We took this old abandoned mid-century modern house and it had been vacant for about 10 years. And we kind of turned it into this nature retreat. Like, again, I call it the post-apocalyptic utopia because it was all really degraded. But we let it be a lot more natural. We had a lot of free range animals. It was kind of like living off the grid, on the grid. We were only 5 minutes from Mandalay, but we were teaching people how to like forage and turn the kitchen into like a commercial kitchen, hosted like Airbnb retreats. In a lot of ways, it was for the people that didn't want to go to Vegas, but had to for business or bachelorette party or something like that. It was, but to me, it was like the authentic Vegas. It was very much what I saw in Vegas. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was great. I mean, they cooked for you. I went there for a breakfast, brunch spot. It was really cool. It was a way different, like concept at that time. And I feel like it's become more popular. And I know you tried it again in like San Diego area. So that's when I saw you last. But yeah, so now we're coming back around. You moved back about a month ago, like you said.
Yep.
And I remember you were with this guy. And you guys lived together there, and you guys were business partners, or?
No, we were married. It was actually 10 years and just ended a little while ago.
Wow. Yeah. 10 years, long time.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you guys were, but did he help you with the business on that side?
Not really. We were just totally opposite.
Totally opposite. Okay. I know I met him
opposite.
briefly just that one time. He was nice. Obviously, I only met him one time, but I don't even remember his name.
Keith.
Yeah. Okay. Keith. Yeah. So yeah, whatever you want to talk about, feel free to talk about. If you want to talk about the divorce or or dating in Vegas or any of that.
It's almost like a before and after pre marriage or post marriage. It's been very different worlds, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the divorce, which is somewhat finalized, was very amicable. They grew apart. There wasn't any bad blood, I don't think. It's back in Indianapolis. We haven't talked, but it's still fresh. So just kind of letting it do its thing. Yeah. But yeah, we were just very different. I think he was more along the lines of the kind of happily ever after Disney story, very buttoned up Midwestern.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of changes in, I guess, things that happened in marriage. But I think when you get together young, you're still figuring yourself out and what you want, and became very different people. We were already very different people to start, but it felt like a chapter in life that was good, and now it's time for the next thing.
So what attracted you to like, you're completely opposites.
Mm-hmm.
So was that the attraction there, or what attracted you to him? Like what?
It was sort of like a ease and a comfort. I mean, it's not really exciting. It wasn't really, it was sort of like the thing that they joke about with the lesbians, like the first date in the U-Haul thing.
I don't know that joke.
You don't know that joke?
I don't know that. Please tell it.
That's what they say about lesbians. Yeah, the very
Do you know that one, Andrew?
I don't know that one, no.
He usually knows
happening?
lesbian jokes.
It's that stereotype, yeah.
What is
They
it?
say you show up to the first date with a U-Haul, and it's basically like
You're
that
let's
instant.
go, we're going.
Exactly,
Yeah, oh, okay.
yeah.
So it
You
was like
found
that.
someone. It was a comfort, a comfort level. I mean, it wasn't anything like really sexual from the beginning. I think it was just like he was really quiet, and literally, but it got to the time 3 years later when we got married, it was like, you're the person that I've been with the longest that doesn't piss me off or annoy me. That's what he said to me. And I'm like, you deal with all my changes and whatnot, and persona and my wildness and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was always just that. And it still feels more like a family kind of situation. Like it was harder for my sister and nieces than anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that's always hard breaking up with someone that you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was definitely hard, but I feel like it was a long time coming, and it was better for everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know, like when you first met him?
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like you guys were just friends.
It was about after like 200 dates, and I don't really know how to like 200 dates with other people, like the serial dating kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't want to say it's because you got tired. It was just like the first person that like it felt like comfortable with, and it moved fast because of that. But,
Yeah. So and you guys met here?
No, we met in San Diego, and he was like the actor, and instantly, like, I think that was part of the problem. Like he sort of wanted to pursue that, and he was able to take classes and all those things, and kind of didn't really like go beyond that. Like he had all the free time and everything, but I feel like he compromised all the time with like moving to Vegas, following me with work, but probably like wasn't exactly where he wanted to be, and became kind of too dependent. And we always say we were like the 60s couple, where he would be like the obvious like stay at home wife or whatever in the situation, and I'm like the career guy. So it was a lot of things like on those sides where I was never going to be really in alignment, because I'm way too independent and kind of go all over the place and always have something new going on. So it's easy for someone, I think, to get lost in that.
Yeah. That's so crazy because like you said, he's an actor, but he was so shy and like
very shy. I think most of the actors that I've like actually met, the big ones, seem a lot like his personality. Like they're not big personalities. Like when I met like J-Lo and Janet Jackson, all these people that I thought would be huge were just so quiet and so shy and so timid and soft-spoken and everything. Even like Tom Cruise is like a blank, when they're not performing, they're like a blank slate.
He's a robot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Scientology people just put a robot in him. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost what you have to be, I think, like a blank to assume any different personality. But I always thought that he could be good for that reason, because he did come alive on stage, versus other people that I've dated. They're more like the reality star or like host personalities, like big and over the top, and you tell them to play another role, they're not going to ever be able to do that. They're just who they are in there.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, I worked with a lot of actors too, doing the film stuff, but I mean,
so would you still date an actor, or is it off the list?
Yeah, it's probably off the list.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't ever write anything off. I don't even know what I'll be into tomorrow. So at this point, like, who knows?
No, that's sad that everything had to end, but it ended for a reason.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good that you found out, that you guys weren't compatible, and it was just like, oh, it's the longest that I haven't fought with anyone or got along with,
Exactly. Like the lack of fights and the comfort wasn't enough, I don't think.
Yeah. So. Do you think it was just like a passion thing? Like, were you, obviously you were attracted to him. So do you think it was like a passion thing where you're like, oh, like we just don't have like this passion or like drive or the same thing, since you were some completely different opposite?
I think it's just different phases in life. Like maybe when you're younger, like you have a lot of fears of like being alone, or you want that stability. And especially like in the gay world, I think it's just like you don't have a rule book to follow, and it's like he was very conservative, wanted to follow all those steps, and I never like saw myself as that. But then once it was presented, it's like, oh,
this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I grew up like very Christian, and I didn't feel like I did it out of guilt, but it was just like a familiarity, like
right.
Yeah, in a Christian community. Like my parents were not. Actually, that's the only time I ever got grounded. We're going deep now. When my mom found out that I was going to church, I got grounded.
What? Wow.
Yeah. She just didn't want me to feel like I was going to be shamed and stuff. And at that time, it really was like everything was just like hate speech, like every single day. And I have friends like in that maxed out all their credit cards and were like bankrupt before they even got out into the real world, paying for themselves to go through the conversion therapies and stuff. Like, it was a crazy world.
Oh, wow. So I'm gonna maybe ask you something that's a little uncomfortable, or I don't know. Did your parents always know, or did you know or realize that you were always gay, or did you?
Yeah. I knew early. They didn't know. Like we communicated like cryptically, very waspy,
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. But I mean, it wasn't ever like I didn't feel like shamed or anything by them. It was just like I feel like there wasn't really role models. Like I'm not Will and Grace. I'm not like
right.
all these other things. So it was hard to like even know what you're supposed to do, or like if that's the case. I always knew that like with girls it didn't feel
do anything.
Right. It was like a show,
right.
Same kind of thing as the marriage in a way, I guess. Like
right.
You're looking for the images and the appearance, and like how do you form this like visual couple that
right. Yeah, because you actually come across as this other person my last guest, Allie, she wants like a big burly man with a beard and like, and,
I watched
and
that
like,
one.
yeah, and you're like, you're kind of like that persona, right? So how did you like in the gay world, it's different because, it's other guys.
Yeah.
So for that, like, how do you feel about, projecting yourself as that person? Or because
I mean, it was always complicated. Like, I feel like when I started my career, like doing design and stuff, like I actually remember one design reality star being like super masculine when you meet them in real life, but they put on this whole like, flamboyant act.
Yeah.
And straight up, like within 5 minutes, he was like, you're really hot, but you're never gonna be anything in this design world unless you can learn to pretend to be that way.
I don't know.
So it was like that kind of thing, like the queer eye kind of thing. And that's always what I saw and what I grew up with, but I didn't like relate to it. So it was like, I don't want to go give you a makeover and take you shopping. Like, it's not interesting to me. Like, it's torture. So
like, I'll show you how to forage.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Start a fire with sticks and raise animals and all of that. So it's like, yeah, it was just, I think, a long process, not like necessarily feeling like I was like dictated by that side or whatever, but also at the same time kind of still having the programming where the visual, like you're the girl, I'm the guy kind of thing, I think was just in your head because it's all you really know.
Right. Yeah. Do you want to expand on any of that? Or
yeah, I mean,
because it's like different. Like a lot of people, they have that image of, like a queer guy or gay guys being like the flamboyant or whatever. And I used to work with someone for a long time and I never knew he was gay until my friend told me. And then he was like, oh, here's my partner, Jose. And then it was like, and he was the, what you would think of as like a gay guy. Like you talked to him, you knew he was gay. He was very flamboyant, very outgoing. Hey, girl, let me do that. And wore like skirts and like stuff like that. He wasn't trans, but he was, openly gay. And like for the longest time, he like I did not know. And it's like I love that though. I love that like we're people. You're a different personality, and a lot of people pinpoint gay people as being this certain, persona.
Yeah.
And
I mean, not to go like too deep with that side, but I always felt like it was I grew up with in Living Color, and like everybody on TV was like black, and they were like trying to be a specific thing. They were either trying to model it after a white family, or they were trying to be comedic and just like over the top. Like, so you almost like couldn't imagine someone not fitting into any of those like roles on TV. And I think when they started like in high school for me, like the Will and Grace and the Queer Eye and all that, it was the same thing. It was like the entertainment, it was the comedy. It's like, this is the thing that's going to be marketable.
Right. I actually learned a lot about that recently. It's called queer coding. And I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. And they've done that from like forever, from the 1920s.
What's a queer quote?
Yeah, never heard of it either.
Quote. A quote? I'll give you a quote.
Like painting your queer, your queer quote. I don't know.
Actually, Andrew, you can give us a queer quote.
Even the Shakespeare stuff, like how guys used to perform on stage as women and stuff. I think that was like what it was seen as like.
Well, back in like the Greek times and everything, and all of that era, it was very much openly sexual. Men liked men or women, and it was very much like an open thing until there was until times turned, and then people started being like, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. Right. And it was basically like because of the religious movements and like people saying, no, you can't do that, man or woman, whatever. I
mean, for me it was always like, I always thought that anyone saying that they were bi, I thought was fake. And now I know that that's not fake, like, because I know a lot of people that are, and there's like a big scale of like curiosity to, it's like nature and nurture, all those things combined. Like, it's just like girls aren't going to like all the same guys aren't going to like all the same girls. There's a range for sure. So
right, yeah, just like Andrew likes.
Well, I'm still thinking back to how you didn't get into the kind of the idioms of the Queer Eye, just vocally, because I always listen.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden,
exactly. I don't know what.
Because you're just.
I don't know what the answer is. I think it's just like introvert, extrovert, maybe like
ambivert.
Yeah, I am ambivert for sure, but I think that it's just like you're not gonna relate to every cartoon character or hero or whatever on TV. It was like as if like every single cartoon character was just the same person. And what if you don't relate to that cartoon character? Like, that's the only way I can explain it. It's like I just didn't feel like it was any of my interests, like any of my I mean, that's just like saying, oh, a girl has to wear skirts and this and that, and then you can have a tomboy and they're
that's true,
not a lesbian, and they're interested in guys still.
Yeah, and they can be both. Like they could be certain
be
days like they want to go hunting, and
that's like
other days they want to be a princess.
That's like me. Exactly. I'm like, I'll wear skirts and I'll wear freaking hunting jacket and go shoot.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel like now.
Yeah,
it's like as I get older, it's just like different outfits, and I don't feel like it's a chameleon thing. It's just like when you dress up for Halloween, like you want to pretend to be another person. Like I think that's what led me to do my new company and everything. Just this idea that like we all have these roles that we play, and it's kind of like you're typecast into one thing, but Halloween comes around and it's like you get to be, more devious, more this, more that, whatever it is.
Right.
And there's sort of like a more authenticity almost to who you are during that time when you're wearing the costume. Yeah. And pretending, then because you get to do the things that you like normally wouldn't be able to get away with and blame it on the costume or the character.
Right.
Just like we can blame it on alcohol or anything else. Like,
right.
It's like that layer of it's okay. I'm going to be safe still, I guess. Like I don't have to take accountability for it myself. And my new business, Departing Dystopia, is like very much this adventure, like live action role play. But there's a lot of like kink involved and a lot of we kind of create these characters for people that are the versions of themselves that they want to be. And kind of like role play all that out. So it's been fun to meet like people that are, very far along with being like open with their
sexuality
and all that. And then seeing the people who are drawn to it that you wouldn't expect, you know, like military guys and like housewives that have had like 4 kids already and like are depressed. Like there's a lot of power to it, I think, and we're sort of like the intro to all of it, I feel like now, where in the same way that Halloween is, like,
right. So it's like a Halloween.
I hesitated at first to call it that, but so I think of like a Renaissance fair as a bunch of nerds like that love to dress up as medieval times for whatever reason. I didn't understand it, but when you think of Halloween, like girls want to dress a certain way, like, or guys want to like dress in drag or something. It's just like an excuse to sort of be more playful. So I latched onto like that part of it with this one, and a lot of the VR or not VR, AI stuff, and like this idea of avatars and everybody getting to like, you know, almost like when you play a video game, you're like a different character all the time. So we started creating these characters like based off of like who the person is and who they kind of want to pretend to be. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
So
yeah, we will link his new business and all of that information. Departing Dystopia in this video
right here.
Right here. Yeah, we will link it in there because it is very interesting. I've never seen it done. Maybe we do another talk on that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, because it's very interesting and different, and I think a lot of people will like it.
Yeah, ironically, I feel like it really relates to what I was doing here and kind of this like undertone that I was seeing to a lot of it.
Yeah,
like back to the dating in Vegas part, like I'd never seen so many like unconventional relationships and learned so much just with the people that came to visit. And it was more the locals than people from outside, but a lot of like the polyamorous stuff and like the group marriages, like in polygamy, like we had people from St. George, but then you also had like the EDC crowd that was like group married and wanted to like add you to their collective marriage. So I got it on both sides. Like probably the craziest one, I got invited on a date with a straight guy and girl and their son. They wanted me to go on a date with them, and I was like, this is very
and their
weird.
Son
like,
was their son gay?
No, like a kid. And they were super Christian, like so he was Isaiah, and like they all had biblical names. And
wow.
Yeah, and they wanted
they wanted you to be in their like circle?
I felt like they wanted free babysitting and a cook, to be honest.
Yeah. It was that sounds like it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was that kind of like openness and sort of like the justification in the Old Testament and like how they could like pitch it to me that was really interesting. And
wow.
Yeah, in the same way that
how long did you date?
No, it didn't
How
happen.
long did you
they kept coming back over and over again for brunch, and it was like at that time I just felt like I was so taken off guard by a lot of it that I almost you don't know what to say. You're just like observing it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like in Vegas, like I mean, my auto mechanics, like there were all swingers, and they tried to get me to go to these like things, and it was just like it was culture shock at first, but then you kept seeing it from all these different angles, and you're like, okay, what am I missing?
Right. You know? So have you ever been to one of those?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but actually there was like a swingers party like all the time right down the street from where we had our Mona thing, and they'd be up all night. And yeah.
How do you know?
You would hear the music and you'd see all the people and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's naked.
Yeah, I don't want to name any politicians or big important people, but yes.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. Funny. All right. So what is one thing that you would take away from dating here in, well, I mean, I guess you didn't really date a lot in Vegas, but
I did before. I mean, I lived here for a long time before.
Yeah. What is one thing like that you like were shocked about besides all of that, but or would take away from it or learned?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like Vegas with the tourist like draw and everything. It's like there's always a place for these kind of like quick fling romances and like a lot of fantasy involved in that. Like I would have a lot of those types of adventures that seemed like good because they have a beginning and an end. So I feel like that was the first part of it. And then I kind of was dating and sort of like mischievous with like the personal assistant of one of the clients I was working with. And so that was like a very stark contrast to the like, now let's settle down.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah, I think that's the fun thing with with Vegas is that like if you're not looking for long term, there's always
something
that
else.
promise of like
on them.
of the fling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
More so than any other city, because in any other city, like doesn't matter Tinder, whatever it is, like you're gonna run out of people like pretty quickly.
Right.
Here it's a Thursday to Sunday every all the newbies come
Yes,
in.
exactly.
I
What's the
mean,
next
it doesn't
adventure?
even matter. I feel like
Yeah.
it's always Monday through Sunday.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, now
I never
maybe
did anything
with
bad.
conventions and everything. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I used to work on the weekends, and then like even Monday through Thursday, you could do something at night. There's always something going on here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're looking for. It's always something going on.
yeah, exactly.
Restaurants, shows, anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Which can get lonely, I guess, if it's like that temporary, but it just depends on what you're looking for coming out of the marriage and all that. You're not necessarily looking for settling down right away, so it's an easier way to kind of
easing
get the
to it.
validation and have the fun, whatever it is that we're going for. But,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right. I want to ask you one last thing.
Mhm.
What is a piece of advice that you would give to the gay community out there in Las Vegas, especially with all the experience?
that's a hard one. I don't know. I just think in general, it's not just Las Vegas, but like a lot of people are still trying to follow like certain stereotypes and norms, and I hesitate to like say all of it, but it's just like you can be like something else. Like not everyone has to fit like that same mold over and over again. And I think that that's kind of happening everywhere, but there's like an insecurity that people feel like whether they're not skinny enough or not like hairless enough or don't like drag race enough or whatever it is. Like it's just that I wish that there wouldn't be such a push to sort of like comply to
certain
norms. Yeah, it's like I wish it would mix more too. Like there's almost like an anger like of certain probably guys my age, like when women are at like a gay club, it's like this is why are they there? Why are they
but
here?
You can say your age, but you don't look your age, so you can
I
just.
know I'm turning 40, but yeah, I think that the those people like exist, and then maybe like the younger people like all have like similar interests or like only express those interests. Like people don't show up as themselves, and then when they do, it's like a mean girl situation where especially the younger ones will, if you're their age, gang up on you.
Yeah.
I mean, once you're older, I feel like you get a pass because daddy issues. So, but for a young, like gay person, whatever it is, like wherever they are on the spectrum, I think that's the thing that they start to mold themselves based off of like what they've been,
what's accepted,
what they've been told, like,
right.
Oh, that shirt's too baggy or that's wrong. It's that judge culture of like, okay, you get a 5 and you get a 10, like
right.
That kind of thing. I wish that was gone. So without like criticizing that reality culture of like drag race and everything where everyone's catty and there's like a score involved in it, like I wish that was less. I wish that existed for the people that like that and didn't have to be at every single place.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here and being on the show.
Of course, thank you.
It's another great show.
This is our.
That was Love in Las Vegas. I mean, what do you want out of life?
Right.
What do you want out of life?
I don't
That's
know.
all that yeah.
But I do like what you're saying about the shift, like shifting so not everybody's the same. Everyone's just who they are.
Yeah, it's not a black and white. It's not black
or who
and white.
they want to be on that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest. You never know who you want to be exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, if you want to get on the show, just contact Jessica Wood. You have her home number. Like everybody does.
You wish.
Well, I mean, she gave me a fake number. Anyhow, tune in next week.
Thank you.